Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Qadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth true well. I'm going to go into something quick. All right, I've done this lesson before, and many brothers and the elders have done it a couple, many times in the past. This is Matthew 27:46, and about the 9th hour, Yahweh Shai cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay, so you have people like Vocab Malone and these other dudes that's trying to disprove what we say, because in the Hebrew, that should be alaya, lama, izabach thanya, which means alaya. Allah means God. That Yah, the Yod, in the current Hebrew, which is the Yad in the Paleo Hebrew, that Yad represents a personal at the end of a word. Okay, that character at the end of a word makes it personal. All right, so if you say salach, you're saying sorry, but if you say salachia, you're saying I'm sorry. Okay, so if you're saying God, Allah, or something like Adawan, which is my Lord, and you put the Yah at the end, Alaya, okay, which means my God, and then Lord is Adawan. When you say Adawanya, you're saying my Lord. All right, and that word Adawan should not be confused for Adawam, which is Edom. And Adawamya means Edomite, So it says, Alaya, lama sabachthanya, that is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay, so I looked it up on the Hebrew, and it comes up right here. Okay, Allah, and then it has the Yod at the end. Okay, it has the Alap, the La, which is I forgot the law, what the law stands for. Alaya, lama, and then Shabach Thanya. All right, so Shabach Than is to forsake, and that Yah at the end makes it personal. Forsaken me, right? So Alaya, my God, lama, which means why, Shabach Thanya, which is forsaken me. Why hast thou forsaken me? My God, why hast thou forsaken me? You see? So when you go over here, all right, I had taken this screenshot, which is from this video that I'm watching. It says El Elohim, which is the current Hebrew, which is a broken Hebrew of the original Hebrew, okay? Because when the Most High confused the languages, okay, he just split the dialects into something else, man. I had a video also. I don't know if I have it here somewhere. I might have deleted it, okay? But in that video I had, it was a Syrian woman, a woman that spoke Aramaic, and another one that spoke Hebrew. And they had certain words, like one of them was Malek, and they were trying to figure out what they were saying. So she was like, what are you trying to say? So the guy was like, you can translate it and try to pronounce it in the Hebrew. And she said malaak, or something like that. What she was trying to say, malaach, which is an angel or a messenger. And she was like, oh, malaach, So they have different dialects of Hebrew, man. That's why it says here in the current Hebrew, it's El Elohim, which goes to show it has nothing to do with the Hebrew, which is a longer Hebrew. All right, that broken Hebrew that has been in Assyria and in the Middle East has been a descendant from the true Hebrew, which is the one we speak, the Lashawan Qadash. All right. So it's in Hebrew, the broken Hebrew that's over there now, it's El and Elohim. All right. El is Allah. Elohim is a plural thing. Remember that Yah at the end makes it personal, but if you have a Yam, all right, the Yod and the Ma and the Mam at the end, it's actually a plural, not singular. So if you're saying Allahayam, which is what Genesis chapter 1 says, Allahayam, it would be a plural thing, okay? So that part was wrong on that man that put Elohim, all right? But partially it was true because it does mean God, okay? So as he put Elohim for Hebrew, La for Aramaic, okay? And see how they spell it, man. Aalah, all right? Aalah. And Allah, Allaha, in Syriac. So he put Allah for Arabic, this guy right here. And then when you come down to Yauna, they put Syriac and Aramaic is the same. Syriac is just an alternative name for Aramaic, similar to Castellano and Espanol, or does refer to the Edison Aramaic dialect. Allah is definitely not Aramaic, but clearly Arabic. Aramaic was like extra letters at the end, unlike Arabic or Arabic. Okay, so he's explained something. Then he said, for example, bite and baita, all right, which is whenever you go into how we pronounce things, all right, at the end of a word, we say that and sometimes we don't say the like for instance, what's one, like babakusha, babakusha, which means please, but we say the at the end of babakusha, and then we say a dawam ya, all right, but that that M should have a ma at the end. Adawamaya. Adawamaya. All right, but there's certain connectors from one word to another, so it's adawamya instead of adawamaya, and that's the difference in these words. You see, so it says in Aramaic we say Allaha, Allaha, all right, Allaha, which the ha, the Hebrew word for the ha is represented, all right, in what we call, oops, that's the wrong one. I don't think I have it saved on this phone, but the ha would be here, which is the hey, okay, which is that H. That H comes with an A. All these letters, all right, or these characters, they come with an A after it, right? You have the which is an A and an H. You have the bite, which is the B and an A. The gamal, which is a G and an A, which means camel. It says the aba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, the cha, the ta, the ya, which is the yod, and then the ka, right? Then you have the la, ma, na, sa, and then you have the I, the pa, and it goes so on and so forth. You see? So in their language, he's saying that they pronounce it Allaha. All right, but there's connectors at the end of everything. So we say Allah. All right, but there's a connector at the end of the H. For them, they say the actual H. For us, we just have the which is the beginning of the Hebrew alphabet, and then the la, which I believe is a lama in the Hebrew. Lamad, Salakia, lamad, okay, which is the L, the Ah, which is the Alap, which is the head of an ox, and then you have the La, which is a staff. The Ah and the La, which makes the head of the priesthood, all right, which is a staff, all right, the shepherd's staff, which is Yahweh the Most High and Yahweh Shai. That's why Yahweh Shai also has it in his name. And then you have the Ah, which is the head, the strong, the power. Okay, so Allah means power, which is Yahweh, the Most High, Allah. When we refer to the Most High Yahweh, we say Yahweh. All right, but you can also say Allahayanawa. Allah means power, Yah means my, Nawa is our. Okay, so Allahayanawa is our God. Okay, our God Yahweh, which is the God of Israel. You see? So you have these men that try to come up against Great Millstone and the Lashawan Qadash, which is the holy tongue of the Ibariya, which is the Hebrew, and they try to come up against it saying, we're wrong for teaching that this is the holy tongue, but it in fact is the holy tongue, man. Okay? And the proof is in the pudding. Okay? The Hebrew is the oldest language in the world. I don't care what any scholar says and what anybody else says to try to contradict it. We know that the Hebrew is the oldest tongue in the world. And then the Hebrew was confused after Nimrod. It was confused by the Most High, so you had dialects of Hebrew. That's why one word can mean something else in a different language or in a different nation. That's why you have El, Allah, Allah, Allah down here, and you have Allah, all spelled differently. And why is that? But if you notice, all those other nations, which are actually older than the Hebrew that's currently called Hebrew, all right, they all have that form of, that Allah, And when you go back to this, it says Shabach, okay, which is down here. Shabach Thanya, Shabach Thanya, which Vocab Malone and his companions, okay, they like to say that this is a transliteration, which a transliteration is not a translation, okay, but the transliteration is when they try to get the word as close as possible to the original Hebrew or to the original word, So if my name is Juan or Pancho, and you go to a different language like the Germans, they'll say Pancho, Juan. But they won't say it like you want to say it, but it'll be close enough, So it says Eli, Eli, okay, which is Alaya, Alaya, which that transliteration, which is what they call the transliteration, it wouldn't even make sense, because people thought he was calling for Elias. Verse 47, some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, this man calleth for Elias. Okay? Who is Elias? Elijah. Now, how the hell are you going to get Eli, Eli, and someone know, oh, he's talking about Elijah? How does that make any sense? It doesn't. Okay? But I'll show you why they thought he was calling for Elijah. Okay? Which, we've been into it plenty of times in the past with the Lashawan Qadash. So you go to Elijah and look how it's spelled. Aliyah with the H at the end. You see? Aliyah. So that means he had to have had that Yah at the end, not just Eli. All right? Eli. Eli. He would have had to say Eliah, or Aliyah. Aliyah. That would be a closer transliteration to the actual Hebrew Yahweh Shai was speaking. You see? Because Allah means power. Yah means he. you know. And when you go to the actual meaning of the name of Elijah, is my God is Yahweh. You see, Yahah is the name, part of the name of the Most High. All right, Yahweh is the name of the Most High. Alayah is my God. Alayah with the H at the end would be Allah Yahweh. Allah Yahweh, my God is Yahweh. Okay? And that's why these Christians don't get it, man, because they try to come up with ways to say we're wrong. Okay? And even when they're proved wrong, they can't say that they're wrong. They can't say that we're correct. Starting with Elder Apostle Tahar on down. They can't say that Great Millstone's correct, because that means what? That means they have to turn to Great Millstone and follow Great Millstone because they were correct. And they're too prideful to accept that they were wrong, man. So going back to the name, Alayah and Alaya, all right? Alaya is the name of Elijah. Alayah is how you say my God. Now remember, in that time of Yahweh Shai, you had the true Hebrew, which was being spoken, and you also had Aramaic, and you also had Greek. Due to the Hellenistic period with Antiochus, with starting with Alexander the Greek, down to Antiochus and so on and so forth. They were pushing that Greek, but you also had Aramaic, okay, in the time of Yahweh Shai, and you also had the true Hebrew, okay? So people, like I said, there's a confusion in the language, and when the confusion of the language came, that just means that the language was split up into dialects, okay? So whenever Yahweh Shai said Alayah, Alayah, okay, he wasn't saying Elias, Elias, which the name Elias is not even a transliteration of the name Elijah. And if it is, that's nowhere close, But it's because you don't say Elias with an E. You say it with an A, Elias. Which you shouldn't even say the S, Eliah. Eliah. And when Yahweh Shai was saying Eliah, Eliah, that would make more sense, man. Okay? That would make a lot more sense. But you have these clowns that follow Vocab Malone, his companions, that try to disprove that. And then when you come up and say, okay, well, here's the proof, Eliah and Alayah, and this is how you say this, and this is how you say that, what's your excuse? Which I did. I came up against one of those dudes, which was the main one that was making that video a while back. And when I told him and confronted him about the actual pronunciation and the transliteration and the words and the names and all those things were put into the perspective, he said, well, it could have just been the noise of the people around Yahweh Shai that made people think that he was saying Elijah instead of Eli, which makes no fucking sense, man. That's putting, inconclusive, what is it called? Inconclusive, basically making up, oh man, what is that fucking word, man? Making up excuses, basically what I'm trying to say. Salakia. That's all they're doing, making up excuses. What do? We go into the Hebrew, we go into the scriptures, and we verify this is this, and this is that, this is this, and what we're saying is true. And if it's not, then we go into it and say, you know what? This thing that we were teaching is not true, like the thing with the confusion of face. I never really understood confusion of face. And whenever it was broken down, by other people, I was like, man, it could be something else. But I let the Spirit do its thing, man. And the Elder Apostle Tahar came back and said, hey, whoever's teaching that confusion of face means, that we look like other nations, that's not what that means. Speckled bird is a closer one. Speckled bird actually means we look like other nations. A cake not turned means we look like other nations. All right, but the confusion of face just means our face bears that shame. So we correct ourselves, man, with things that we know are not to be true. Okay, so that Alayah, lama sabachthani or sabachthanya, that means My God, my God. Allah means God. Alaya means my God. Lama means forsaken. Okay. Shabach than. Shabach means forsake. You know. Lama means why. Shabach means forsake. Than means to give. Yeah. Why have you given? Why have you forsaken me? You know, in a giving manner. You see, it's simple, man. But you have these simpletons, all right, that are more simple than what needs to be, man, making things more complicated. Okay, aleya. You see that? Aleya. That's how you say. That's how you pronounce it. Aleya. So if Yahweh Shai was saying aleya, 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 he was calling to the Most High. But people thought it was Elijah because of the H at the end. You also have that in the book of Judges, all right, when they were, I believe, let me see. See if I can find it. Judges, yep. Judges 12:6. Then said they unto him, say now, Shiboleth. And he said, Shiboleth. All right, Siboleth. All right, see that there's a difference right there. Shiboleth and Siboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. You know, and that was between the Ephraimites. You know, which Ephraim is known to be the leader of the northern kingdom. You know, so it says Shabalath, Shabalath, and he was saying Sabalath, okay, which Sabalath, an ear of grain or wheat. Shabalath is flowing stream. You see?
Strong's H 5451. Siboleth. Siboleth.
You know, so there was a difference in the language, small little changes that were done. You know, and that's why the pronunciation is slightly different. But that does not mean, okay, that the current Hebrew is the correct Hebrew, because that was made up by a man. You know, so if Vocab Malone is saying that our Hebrew is not correct, which is the Lashawan Qadash, how can he confirm that the Hebrew that's spoken over there in Israel right now is the correct Hebrew? You know, they try to come up against him, man, but at the end of the day, they're going to see. All right, look how this word is to say. It means amar. Amar. Okay? Kawan or Khan, you see? Is just pronounced or is written differently. All right, but like you see over here, this guy said Allah. All right? Allah, which means God, is written different ways, all right, with the same ah sound. You see? So just to finish up, this is Genesis chapter 1. And I went into this last time. That word God is Alahayim. All right? And there you have the makeup. Allah and Hayam, which makes it a plural thing. So when you go into H430, Alahayim or Elohim, it should be gods. You see? And that's what we see, plural. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, and gods. But when you go to, let me see if they have the Allah, which means these, which the H with the H at the end. Let me see if they have the single form. No, they don't have it. All right, but the word Allah means God or power. You know? So Allah, right here, Allah, H410, which means God, plural. Singular, Salakia. All right, God, a false God, God, the one true God, Yahweh. You see? So you have Allah, which is El in the current Hebrew, but it's Allah. You know? And that's why you have the Muslims that say Allah, because they're trying to speak to a God. but they don't know what God they preach to. All right, or they don't know what God they worship. We know what we worship. We worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, Yahweh being the name of the Most High. Bahasham, Ba means in, Sham is name, in the name, or Ha means the, in the name. Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, which means He is a deliverer, or He delivers. Okay, Bahasham Qadash, which is the Holy Spirit. You know. So I hope that was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth to rule well. Shalom.